How to Use Maya 2010 video series. I'm Raleigh, and today we will manipulate the cube that we made in our last video session. What's great about Maya is it gives us endless possibilities, but that also means that it's a complex computer program. So, if you're running other applications on your computer, be sure to shut them down before you start running Maya. Otherwise, you'll probably get frustrated and Maya will run very slowly. Also, if you're a laptop user, using that touchpad will make navigating in Maya really challenging. So it's best if you hook up an external mouse to your
Great, let's get our cube set up so we can get started. I went ahead and opened the file that contains the cube we created in the last video. You can view your cube in a few different modes. If your cube has a light green outline around it and appears transparent like mine does right now, it's in what's called wireframe mode. An object's wireframe is kind of like its skeleton, but for learning purposes today, we want to view our cube with its skin on so it looks more realistic. To do this, all we have to do is press the number 5 on our keyboard, like that, to put our cube into shaded mode. If you ever want to view it in wireframe mode again, simply press the 4 key, just like that. Switching back and forth between these two modes does not change your object in any way, but it simply gives you a different view. Now we will learn to rotate our viewing plane. This is often helpful when you want to see what your cube looks like from a different perspective. To rotate our entire picture plane or viewing plane, all we need to do is press and hold down the Command key if we're using a Mac, and if we're using a PC, we'll press and hold down the Alt key instead. While we're pressing down this key, we're also going to click with our left mouse button and drag the cursor around on the screen, like this. You'll notice that there is a red, blue, and green compass in the middle of the grid, right around here. This gives you, as the user, a general idea of what side of the cube you're viewing, based on whether the X, Y, or Z plane is facing you. Now let's resize our cube, otherwise known as scaling it. Press the letter R on your keyboard and you'll notice a tiny yellow, blue, green, and red cube appear in the center of your gray cube, connected with thin gray lines, just like you see here. Click on the yellow cube with your mouse, and while holding down your click, drag your cursor in any direction. You should see your cube get larger or smaller depending on which direction you drag your cursor. The entire cube right now is being scaled proportionately. To scale it disproportionately, play around with doing the same thing with either the blue, red, or green cubes and watch your cube grow thicker, thinner, taller, or shorter. Rotating your cube is also easy. Press the letter E on your keyboard and you'll notice that a sphere-like shape appears in the middle of your gray cube, outlined in red, green, yellow, and blue orbits. This sphere will act like a steering wheel, which we can use to rotate the cube in any direction we want. To do this, we need to click anywhere on one of these orbits, choosing either red, yellow, green, or blue, and hold down this click while we drag our cursor in any direction. Here, I'm dragging the red orbit so that I can turn my cube on the x-axis. If I click the blue one, I can turn my cube on the z-axis. If I turn the green one, I can move my cube on the y-axis. lastly, we will learn how to move our cube. To move your cube, simply press the letter W on your keyboard and 3 arrows will appear, one blue, one green, and one red. Choose one arrow to click on and hold down your click and drag your cursor in the direction of that arrow to see your cube move with it. If I grab the red arrow, I can move my cube along the x-axis, just like this. If I grab my blue arrow, I can move my cube on the z-axis, just like that. If I grab my green arrow, I can move my cube on the y-axis. Try moving your cube around to a different spot using each of these arrows one at a time.